I have to say, you get so busy with the kids and your life just as a family that sometimes it's hard to even take stock of where you are in your own personal relationship with your wife. So hopefully we'll be together for a long time. I plan on it. You might want to consult with her before you air this thing.
Taking care of your relationship with your partner is key. That is the foundation that your children will be built upon. It often goes to the bottom of the priority list when in fact it needs to be up in the top 2 or 3.
One of the most important things that we've learned is that we have to make time for each other. You have to book that babysitter.
Babysitters can be tricky, especially for somebody our age. Our parents are who we mainly look to.
Because you can't be spontaneous the way you used to be.
There are things that made your relationship successful before you had children. It's important to try to find a way to go back to that place. And it doesn't have to be the same way, it's different. Maybe you don't go out to the fancy restaurant. God, I haven't been to one in a long while.
You just have to make time for that relationship, you know, and it will, the baby, it'll just get easier and easier with time as the baby grows.
What often happens in my experience is that moms get so engaged and involved in the baby that they lose sight of everything else around them.
The baby almost becomes part of her.
I've heard from men that they often feel left out. There's often depression in men, or almost a mourning period around losing that relationship.
I absolutely need to be proactive in ensuring that everything is running smoothly with my family.
It is a team effort, and you have to take some of the load.
Their relationship is also about giving mother some time off. You know, maybe she wants to read, maybe she wants to cook something, maybe she just wants to take a nap. So it'd be nice if you take the baby and give her the ability to kind of just be herself, focus on herself.
And what happens is they do, you know, your partner will appreciate it. And
I wake up every day, I think, how can I make my partner's life better?
that's all we want is just a little bit of help now and again. Maybe we don't ask for it, but we all appreciate it.
And I found that conflict kind of was growing as we had kids because the stakes are higher. Now that you have kids, there's more people around.
There's one thing I learned from my parents, or my mother, you know, it's, and a lot of Caribbean people, they say this thing about, there's a reason, you know, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and that's to be a good listener.
But I think if you're communicating and just trying to problem solve together, you're always going to have less problems.
Things that cause conflict are things like sleep deprivation.
And when you're tired, all your controls are out the window, and the slightest thing annoys you.
So if my wife is trying to communicate something to me, we seem to be sort of at a sticking point. I try to do my best to kind of listen to some of her sort of heartfelt concerns, you know, things she's having difficulty with me.
Things like, you know, don't go to bed mad.
Sort of talk about it in the moment, right? Don't keep things pent up.
Don't try and interact when you're mad, walk away. But tell your spouse you're walking away. I gotta cool off, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
My reflex, I think as a man, is to point out what the solution to the problem is, or, oh, that's not a problem, don't worry about it.
Often we have to be hit over the head before things become a problem. We make assumptions. I think day to day we make assumptions, and if something isn't explicitly laid out to us, we think things are okay. How are you, dear? Fine.
I always do that. And you always feel like, as a guy, why isn't she telling me what the real problem is?
We can be a little too literal.
I don't know if it's a private investigator or a psychic, but you gotta be something to figure out what the heck they're getting at. And then sometimes it is. That's the trick. Sometimes they're actually just complaining about what they're complaining about. And you're already not listening to that because you're trying to work on some deeper level. It's very tricky.